Hello, hello. Welcome one, welcome all. All right, welcome to this live conversation. And if you're here in the chat, please remember to hit the like button, the share button, and the subscription button, and let us get this conversation going. All right, so last evening I was here, and I'm here again just to share the information for you to see it. Because remember, I said to you, we're not there with the device. I was just using my phone to give you an update last evening. And so now I just want to make some things clear based on what we shared and the information on which we relied on in terms of sharing that with you in the context of NACAC, all right? And so we want to bring that to you. And also just to let you know of an update that we saw from Nationwide News. And let me make that clear. That update was from Nationwide News concerning Tia. All right. So I want us to have a good conversation this evening, and as soon as I share the information that I have, I will open the phone lines because I want to hear from you as well, given these updates. And some you would have already hear, because as again, I'm just going to share what I shared yesterday, but just for you to see the information, that we relied on in terms of, the getting a chance for some athletes getting a chance from the NACAC Championships, all right, in Tokyo. So we want to get there, but first I want to look into the chat here. And I'm not seeing any comments in the chat just yet. So if you're here and you're hearing me loud and clear, can you confirm that in the chat, please? That would be fantastic. All right, so where should I start? Well, I guess just to give you some context, if you're new here, right? So the Jamaica trials ended, and that trials was predominantly for the World Championships coming up in Tokyo, all right? And so at that championships, you have some athletes who did very well, and some athletes, for example, Tia, were expecting to go all the way and to be there in Tokyo. Unfortunately, because of suffering some form of injury, I don't know what type, she was unable to complete that final run. So the 100 meters final, she was not able to complete that. All right, I can remember sharing because we were here for the trials, that I just want to see her there in Tokyo. I had this feeling. So we're talking about the Diamond League. And of course, I have confirmed that they're using this year's Diamond League champions as wildcard entries into the World Championships. All right, so that said, then we got word, and of course, we are going to do our checks because we don't sensationalize things here, and we try to be clear, right, in terms of what we are sharing. So we did our checks. We found a document from World Athletics. No, it's not dated, and I'm going to show it on screen. I can't recall seeing any dates on it. And so, but that document was very clear that we got from the website was very clear regarding area champions. All right. And so I am going to share that document with you. So, guys, let's build up the numbers here. And as you enter, come on, hit the like button, get in the chat. I'm not seeing any comments in the chat, and it could just be my side here because sometimes we're live, guys. I am not able to see and I have to be trying to find, different devices just to check to see what's going on there. But would love to know if you're hearing me loud and clear. So that would be fantastic. So let's just get the number going, right? And so on that note, we shared If you check the video last evening, you will recognize that there's a user, who came over and was saying whatever. We try to share what we have and what we know and say, okay, you can go and do your own Google search. Perhaps that wasn't enough. So we are here to share with you where we got the information from. And we are okay. Like we stand corrected, right? This is voices in education, not just my voice, of his voice. It's our voices. And so that is important. And all in the game, welcome. And that is fine. But if you go, does that person work at TVJ? Because they carried the news and it's no different from what we have shared. All right. So we're not here to dispute. So, and it's okay for you to hold your views. That's totally fine. All right. That's totally fine because I don't work for World Athletics, by the way. So I am just working with what I saw and I'm just going to put that up on screen. All right. So just to let you guys know that, and that's totally fine. All right, so we're here, we can share as long as you keep it real and respectful because this is a space, a safe space for all of us. So no one is here to belittle or disrespect or to force anyone into believing, we're just open. And I ask you, we want to learn from each other. That is totally that's the atmosphere here. All right, so just to put that out there. So on that note, too, all right, so that is something that I'm going to get to. All right, the World Athletics, I'm going to share that on the screen in a little bit. And the next thing that I wanted to point out to you guys is that perhaps about 2 hours now or so, or 2.5 hours or so, nationwide news, all right, they shared, and let me tell you, this is coming straight from where? Nationwide news. So let me just go directly there and to read what they have. All right, so I am just going to go there and I'm trying to get in there to find what I need to share with you. And for some reason, I didn't screenshot that. But it was from Nationwide News, and perhaps I need to screenshot it right now. All right, so they shared that Paris, and they have it as breaking. Paris Olympic 100 meters finalist Tia Clayton has been withdrawn from Jamaica's team to the NACAC Senior Track and Field Championship in the Bahamas, August 15 to 17. So that's the title there or the little caption. Now to the article, it shares, all right, that Clayton was among the 40 strong Jamaican contingent announced on Monday for the 3-day championship. She was listed for the women's 100 meters, where there was an opportunity for her to qualify for the World Championships in Japan as the area champion. However, according to our source, there was a major pushback against her selection on the team on the basis that others with the World Championship qualifying standard finished ahead of her at the national championships. All right, so that's the Jamaica trials they're talking about. Clayton was unable to complete the race after pulling up injured. Jodine Williams from Sprintech was fourth in 11:02 seconds, while Janelle Smith of MVP was fifth in 11:06 seconds. Smith, who was already in the team to run the 4x100 meters relay, will take the place of Clayton in the 100 meters in the Bahamas, where she will have a shot at the World Championship. All right, so we hear that, right? So, Smith and Clayton, they're from the same camp. So I'm not sure what is happening there, but obviously, what Smith is saying, so Janelle is saying, hey, I want that opportunity to get that chance to represent Jamaica, all right, in Tokyo. So I guess by virtue of that, Tia pulled out. But if you're looking at performances, obviously, Tia would be the better of the two in that context. But if you're looking at, and I don't know because I checked the J-Trace website, but I could not see, apart from, major events and relays, I could not see how, they would do the selection, for, let's say, for a NACAC Championships, unless it's the same. And I can go back there and we can look through that together. But it just talks about the top three, really. And because the top three isn't necessarily going to NACAC, like, do you just go down that order in terms of who represents Jamaica? So that's a big development there. And, you know, I guess we can say, based on the fact that Janelle Smith is stepping forward, it must be some form of opportunity to really want to go, to get this position. So again, welcome. Hello, Max Morgan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So that's that development there in that context of, Tia. So that is what we're getting, and we'll definitely keep you posted once we get further information. All right. So we'll definitely keep you posted. So now I am going to go to the document from World Athletics. And let me just share yesterday, last evening, and depending on where you were, we were sharing in the context of, Jamaica. So the focus was on NACAC and not necessarily on any other area champion, all right? Because we're talking along the lines of, could Tia get another opportunity to go and represent Jamaica? All right, so on that note, I'm just going to stop sharing here to get that screen up. So you're going to see a dark screen, but I'm still here, guys. So just give me a moment and let me just get that ready for you. All right, let me just try and get this all fixed. And so we can maximize that. Maybe I could get it all. Let's see here. Perhaps I could get it a little bigger. Let's see. Let me know how that looks if you're able to just follow along. All right, so this is the first page. And I'm just going to navigate to the area champion because that's where the focus. But as you can see here, World Athletics Championships, Tokyo 25. All right, so this is the document. This is the information that we relied on when we shared with you last evening. OJ, welcome. Welcome. Okay, you're listening and learning. It is sad that she's missing out on this one, but age is on our side for many years to come. Definitely, definitely. So I am going to navigate here to the area champion. So you can see here because I want you to just get a sense because we don't just get up and share information or just talk. And you will notice that sometimes there are some things that we do not take part in. And again, we stand corrected. As a matter of fact, that is why it's not just voice, it's voices. All right. So I'm trying to find that section here. Oh, I think I passed it. Let me see. All right. Let me just find this. Qualification by events. All right, here we go. Area champions. So this was what I shared, and that's the race walks, and this is what we're going to focus on here. Area champions. All right, so this was what I was sharing last evening. So I'm just going to, let me just check in the chat just to make sure I'm not missing any comments here. And again, guys, we don't have all the answers. So we're just sharing as best as we can, all right, with the information that we have. And again, we don't work for World Athletics, and we're just sharing based on what is available to us. All right, so it states here the following regulations shall apply for automatic qualification to the World Athletics Championships. And they have here not applicable for relays and marathon. All right, one, the area champion in each individual event to be contested at the World Championship automatically qualifies for the World Championships irrespective of whether his performance, and as I shared yesterday, the is really his or her, all right? Or if you see he or she, okay? Irrespective of whether his performance has reached the entry standard on condition that there is no better entry by world rankings of another athlete from the same area in the same event. Next, the area champion shall be the one who won the title at the last area championships either in 2023, 2024, or 2025. And again, we're in 2025. This championship is happening before Tokyo. So there we go. Next, the member federation of the area champion will have the ultimate authority to enter the athlete or not based on its own domestic standard or qualification system. And as I shared last evening as well, so an athlete could go there and win, and it's going to be left up to the J3s to enter. But I can't see why a federation would not want to send their athlete forward when you could have, let's say, 4 athletes as opposed to 3 athletes for an event. So to me, that's like a given. You get this opportunity, you're going to send the athlete. That would be my expectation, in that context. All right, so the next year, if the member federation of the area champion enters the athlete, he will be considered as having achieved the entry standard. All right. And next here, if the area champion for whatever reason is not entered, his place will not be delegated to the second place athlete, and the normal entry rules and conditions apply. And finally, here, for those area championships that do not have certain events, the area associations can organize alternate area specific event championships with conditions conforming to area championships regulations. World Athletics shall be notified of such alternative championships at least 2 months in advance of the event being held. All right, so that's the information. That's the information there. And so, we asked the question, you know, can Tia still make it? That was the question that we asked. And that we asked the question based on this information. We're saying it looks like there's a possibility based on this information. All right. So just want to let you know. So now, the other question, and I think Mark when Mark called last evening, he kind of, alluded to that. In terms of time. The other thing, let's look at the 100 meters, all right? The Americans, they have buys for the 100s. So Shakari on the women's side, Lyles on the male side. So they have buys. So when it comes on to Team America, they cannot, based on my understanding, they cannot use NACAC as an entry into to get an additional athlete because they are going to field four athletes. All right. And so when we think about NACAC, we can think about Canada, like, who else is strong in that context. So you look at it in that way. That's how I'm looking at it. When you think about, let's say, and this is a question, and I stand corrected here, Julian Alfred is already qualified, right? So I don't see Alfred coming here to run, in that context. So when you look at that, it's that opportunity, right? Because America, the biggest competition that you would perhaps have for the 100s, like those are all taken. And it's the same thing now. Let's look at the hurdles, the 100 hurdles for women. Jamaica cannot field another athlete because Daniel already has a bye. So Jamaica will be fielding four athletes in that event, right? So there wouldn't be a hurdler going there trying to get an opportunity in. All right. That's so my understanding, based on the examples and based on what you have on screen, is that some athletes are going to use this as an opportunity to get on that plane to Tokyo. And you have several athletes from Jamaica who are going to use this as an opportunity to get the qualifying standard, all right, to meet that time. For example, we have the 400 meters for men, right? Jamaica as a buy in that, so they can't use it. They can't. That's Antonio Watson. They can't use that as an option to field another athlete, based on my understanding of this whole process here. And again, I stand corrected because I'm learning alongside. I'm learning with you guys. I want to learn from you as well. All right. So, but for that 400 meters, right? We know that the athletes, the top three, they do not meet that qualifying standard time, at least not yet. There was, I think it was Bovell who was down the line who had met the time, right? So these athletes, they're going now to try and get that time. All right. So if we go, for example, to Christopher Taylor, he'll be going there to try and get that 200 meters qualifying standard time. So we have some more athletes like that. So that's my understanding there. And I am going to put the WhatsApp number in the chat because I would love to hear from you. Um, Jeffrey, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I am just going to put the WhatsApp number in the chat. So WhatsApp call only. And we would love to hear from you here. All right, so don't be afraid to give us a call. I'm just going to pin that number at the top of the chat here. Okay, there you go. So it's at the top of the chat. So give us a call. We would love to hear from you and just to hear your views. When you call, please ensure that your YouTube feed is off. All right, and yeah, we keep it real and respectful. All right, so while we're on that, let me just check the comments. And all in the game, I see you. And we're not trying to say that, what you're saying is wrong. We're just expressing ourselves, just as how you're here expressing yourself, all right? So just understand and respect that. And again, we stand corrected. So if there is information, we'll be the first to come and say, guys, this is the new information. This is what's happening. That kind. So would love to hear from you. What are your views based on, what we shared from nationwide that Tia has withdrawn from the team going to Bahamas because of talks that perhaps she should not be representing Jamaica because she was not able to complete the race. So now Janelle Smith of MVP has taken that position. So Janelle replaced Tia in the 100 meters. All right. So we would love to hear from you, given the context. Again, the Diamond League, that is still an option. So there's an opportunity there. So the winners, they'll get an entry, all right, to Tokyo. So just to let you know that as well. All right. So I am not seeing any calls just yet. But Ovi, if you're here and you're on the line, you can definitely just come on in. Would love to hear from you as well. So we would love to hear from you if you're able to pop in. All right. So again, if you're just tuning in, we have just shared some updates. All right. You can see that on screen regarding the area champions. And we have also shared that nationwide broke news that Tia has withdrawn from the team, from Jamaica's team to Bahamas for the NACAC Championships. All right, we were informed again via nationwide, based on what they shared here, that there was a major pushback against her selection on the team on the basis that others with the World Championship qualifying standard finished ahead of her at the national championship. So, based on what they shared again nationwide, Janelle Smith, all right, of the MVP Track Club, has replaced Tia Clayton. All right, so that's the understanding that we have based on the information that was shared by Nationwide News. All right, so just to let you know that. So I'm not seeing any new comments and I am not getting any calls on this end. So and I'm not hearing Ovi. So we're perhaps going to wrap this one up and call it. But just know that we'll be the first to update you, as to whatever is happening, whether it's going to make us, because we're here to share, and we're here to share with some evidence and some substance. Ovi, did I hear you just come in?
Yes, I am here. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Welcome.
I'm not doing too badly. Thanks for welcoming me. Hello and welcome to. Just want to say hello rather to all the persons who are here online. A little bit of disappointment on my side in terms of, Tia and that opportunity that, could have been. But, I understand, you have to look at it from different lenses. And, any athlete that has that opportunity to get, that place there, they're going to try and grasp it. So, understanding from all the different standpoints. And, if she's going there, if she's not going to be, running in order to qualify for the world champs, then it doesn't make sense. So I understand with the pushback why she would have pulled out of the running for the world championships. But, it's a sad.
I'm not hearing you on this side, so I'm not sure if they're hearing you in the chat.
Okay, let me know when you're hearing me.
Yeah, I'm hearing you again. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's just a sad situation that she was unable to complete that race in the Jamaica Championship, and that's affecting her now. And this it just goes to show how athletics is. It's a crude sport, and you have to just take your opportunities when it comes, and hope for the best. Make sure that you're getting your treatment and trying your best to take care of your body, because these things do happen and will continue to happen. But again, persons are not necessarily going to scoot over and give you an opportunity if they see, that opportunity coming their way, despite, the differences in skills and the ability to perform. So that's pretty much my take on it. And I'm hoping that she'll be able to find a way, in terms of the Diamond League going forward. But I'm hoping and trusting that she is fully recovered as well, because, that injury could damage her season further. So I'm hoping that she's better. Back over to you.
Yeah, before you go, I just want to ask, because we have some differences in perspectives, and that is totally okay because there is so much richness in diversity. In the context of what is happening. So we share, or we have been sharing this information regarding NACAC and the fact that the area champion, will, for example, in the 100, they'll get the opportunity based on the information that we have and that is on screen currently to to go to Tokyo. All right, so that's one aspect of it. Now, based on what Nationwide is reporting, to say that there is a major pushback in the context of Tia going to represent Team Jamaica in Bahamas. What are your views if you were to use both based on what we're hearing to just inform your perspective? What are your views? Would you say that obviously there must be something that can come out of this, why, for example, this pushback is happening, you know why? I don't know. I'm just trying to ask you, if do you believe that this is an option? I guess that's the question. in
Well,
the short of it.
based on all the information that is on the table, I would say yes, it is an option. And that is why, as I said, nobody is going to scoot over if they know that, that's an avenue that they could explore, and they would have the they're closest to it. Let's just put it that way. So
Mm-hmm.
if it were you and myself, and I had that opportunity, but even though you're a better athlete than I might be, I am not going to say, all right, you go ahead and, not well, let me not, I would not do that. And I'm not sure how many other persons would be as patriotic to say, you go ahead and I will sit and watch. So that's my view. And as I
So on
said
that
too,
note,
yes.
and I totally get that, like, and I was looking here, and all I suppose is the same thing. Perhaps they just go down the line, but there wasn't anything specified. If, let's say, the top three, I guess they'll just go down the line because that would be my interpretation. If the top three is not going, then you go to number 4, 5, and 6, right? And so let's say, in this context, is it a case where it's country over the individual, where you want the best to represent the country, or we just go to say, okay, we're sticking to the rules in this country? And I mean, if it's in policy, black and white, then it's policy. You can't go around that. But at what point do you say we are sending the best that Jamaica has in that context?
Well, it's a very touchy situation because once
Yeah.
you start deviating from the policy, then that opens up lots of gray area. So
Yeah.
so I think it's best to stick with the policy and move forward. So if she's not next in line, use who's next in line. So if it's a case because he did not complete the race, then you have to just use somebody who has completed the race. Because if you bend the rule for her, you're going to find out that other persons are going to expect the rules to be bent for them. And if that is not done, then it's going to be clearly favoritism towards certain athletes. So that's how I view it. So, if she's going to go, she'll just have to explore a route that she can, be in control of, such as, going through that Diamond League, going through the Diamond League stuff and
Yeah.
try in that route. Because, as I said, athletics is just a cruel sport at times. So, think about it. She, without the injury, she would be okay. We could almost say that she would make it through because we looked at and we guys, we were here watching the national championships, and she run a blistering semifinal, and she outran Shelley and Fraser Price in that semifinal. And we could see that she has, she's in good form. And even when we're online persons, we're having a challenge choosing the top three. So we had Tia, Tina, Sharika, and Shelly, and we're saying those are the top four, but we only there are going to be three to go ahead. So it was going to be a tough race, and in essence, if she had finished the race based on the times that were run, throughout the year, we could easily see that Sharika, Tia, and Tina would make it through if we're just looking at the time as the top three athletes. Do we say that, because Shelley didn't run the times as fast as them, but because she had that experience, I should have said, she goes ahead of one of those persons, and then we would be bending the rules there as well. So it's just have to come back down to the rules and
Right.
abiding by the rules so that there is a standard for things to be measured against. Because once we deviate from that, we have lots of gray areas and it's going to be catastrophic.
For sure. I totally get that. Run It Up TV, welcome, welcome. What about you and Blake? What do you want to know? I'm not sure if I have in are you asking in the context of the team selection? Not too sure, but let me know if that's what you're asking about. And by the way, in the context of the team selection, so I guess if what Nationwide is reporting is true, then Tia Clayton will be replaced by Janelle Smith, and we also have Jodine Williams, all right, going there. So those two athletes. And over on the male side, for the 100 meters, we have Raheem Ford and Rohan Watson. So that should be a close a close one to look out for. And again, remember the Canadian athletes, they can use this too. Over on the 200-meter side, so we have here Ashanti Moore and Gabriel Matthews. And on the male, Christopher Taylor and Adrian Carr. 400 meters, Dejanay Oakley, Stacey and Williams. Over on the male side, we have Rasheen McDonald, Delano Kennedy, 800 meters, Kellyanne Beckford. And on the male side, we have Navasky Anderson, Tyrese Taylor, 100-meter hurdles for women. We have Amoy Brown, Kerika Hill, 110 for men. We have Demaria Prince, Tyler Mason. So there was something too with the 110 hurdles. In the final, Broadbell was not able to start the race. So Broadbell did not run that race because of some injuries that he picked up. So my thing is that I suppose Broadbell would have applied for a medical exemption. I believe, and of you can correct me on this, Tyler was in that number 3 spot. So if Broadbell should go and just run, then it's likely that Tyler would have been eliminated. So I suspect that is why Tyler Mason is here trying to perhaps win this to ensure that, you know, his ticket is secured. And again, based on what we're sharing here, that this is seemingly an opportunity. So let me just emphasize that word, seemingly an opportunity. All right, so over on the 400-meter hurdles, we have Janive Russell, Shanice Walker, male, Asini Wilson, Malik James King, long jump for female here, Nia. Over on the male side, Carey McLeod, Sean D. Thompson. High jump, male. All right, we have here Raymond Richards, Romaine Beckford. Discus throw, we have Samantha. And over on the male side, Frederick and Chad. All right, shot put, we have Lloydrika Cameron. Amma, we have Nayoka Clunis, and triple jump, we have Shanika Ricketts. On the male side, we have Jordan Scott. Javelin looks to be Elvis Graham. All right, and am I missing anything? And then the 4x100 relays. Here I am seeing Tia, but if Tia is there, Jodine Williams, Ashanti Moore, Janelle Smith, and Gabriel Matthews. I suspect Tia, if what we're hearing from Nationwide is the way things are, then I suspect Tia is not going to be there with this 4x1. 4x4, Nikisha Price, Dejanay Oakley, Stacey Ann Williams, Leah Anderson, Shaquina Foot, Ronisha McGregor, and they will be trying to see if they can get a time in there. And I believe it's the same on the male side. Rasheen McDonald, Zandrian Barnes, Shamar Utah, Delana Kennedy, DeAndre Watkins, and Bovell McPherson. The 4x100 for men. All right, Kadrian Golson, Raheem Ford, Rohan Watson, Christopher Taylor, Adrian Carr, and Buaji Nkrumah. All right, so just to let you know too that we got some updates that the top three, all right, the top three will be available for the London. I think it's Diamond League for the relay. So that's the situation, there. All right. So again, welcome one, welcome all. We're pretty much going to wrap this conversation up. All right. So let me just see if you have any final comments in the chat. All right. And let us know. All right. And Ovi, do you have any final comments?
Yes, for sure. Want to say thank you for providing us with the information that is out there in the space for us to, examine and for breaking it down so nicely for us. We appreciate that. And I'm just saying that, we want to support the athletes and hopefully they'll get an opportunity to go out there and perform and do their best. And to Tia, I'm just hoping that she'll be able to navigate this challenge and make it to the World Championship even if it means that he'll have to go and perform well on the Diamond League circuit and win that Diamond League. So, yes, and thank all the persons who are here who have commented and stuck it out with us. We really appreciate you. Continue to stick and stay with us. Remember to hit that subscription button, turn your post notification on so that you can connect with us when we get updates in this and on this matter and more. And connect with us as we'll have the Diamond League stuff coming up later on this week. We're expecting to see you
Well,
guys back here.
tomorrow, tomorrow, guys. Yes, I forgot about that for sure. Tomorrow we'll be here for the Diamond League stop in Monaco. So ensure that you have those post notifications turned on so that you don't miss that update. All right. So yeah, that's it. That's it, guys. So sorry to cut in there, Ovi, but I'm coming back to you. I just needed to let them know it was tomorrow. Back over to you.
All right, and that was pretty much done. So looking forward to seeing you and communicating with you again. We really appreciate you being here. Remember, if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do that before you head on out and continue to stick and stay here with the Voices in Education family. Take care and walk.
All right, fantastic. So, on that note, I just want to say blessings and love everyone. Thank you so much for keeping it real and respectful. Really appreciate that. And as I shared just now, we'll be here for the Diamond League stop. All right, the Monaco stop. So you want to ensure that you're sticking and staying with us. So if you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscription button now. All right, like, guys, share, tell your friends, your family members about the Voices in Education, and let us just continue to grow stronger together. All right, blessings and love, and I'll see you tomorrow in that Diamond League stop in Monaco. All right, and we'll see what happens then. All right, bye for now. Blessings and love. I'll just sign you out with some music. Take care. Bye.